Okay, so we are looking at this question. The label on each box of the value resin says that it contains 1.25 pounds of resins. But industry standards, which is the main thing here, allows these boxes to be sold with anywhere from 1.2 pounds to 1.32 pounds of resins. If X represents the number of pounds of resins in a box of tier value resins that meets industry standard, which of the following inequalities represent all possible values of X? So now, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We are looking at the industry standard, which states that 1.2 and 1.32 pounds. The X lies between these two numbers. So the first point, or the first thing we should do, is to get the midpoint. The midpoint between these two numbers now is 3 points. We do the midpoint between the two numbers. We have, I think what we have there now is 0.2. What I have is 1.2 and 1.32. So the midpoint between 1.2 plus 1.32. The midpoint will be this plus this divided by 2. And this is going to give us, what is it going to give us? The midpoint. When you say 1.2 plus 1.32 divided by 2, what are we going to have? Help me a punch.
1 point. You said what?
Are you seeing my board at all?
Okay, 1.2 plus 1.32
divided by 2.
$1.26.
So 1.26. That means that 1.26 resins So this 1.26 is from either this. Let me use a number line to show you this. So now this is 1.26. And so this 1.26 now is from either end. If I have a number line, here is 1.2 and here is 1.32. So now the midpoint is here. This midpoint is 1.26. So this midpoint is 1.26. So now between 1.2 and 1.26, the distance from here to here now is 0.06. I think the distance between there and there is 0.0, and also the distance between here now, if you check it too, is going to give us 1.32 minus 1.26. Help me at the minus 1.32 minus 1.26.
1.8. Wait.
1.32 minus 1.26.
0.06.
0.06. So 0.06 now is the distance. Between the midpoint of the two extremes and the either end. So look at what this thing means. What this thing means is that X what it means that is X, the absolute value of X2, or the distance between X and 1 point, the distance between X and 1.26. The distance between X and the 1.26, X to 1.26, which is the midpoint, should be less than or equal to 0.06 from this diagram. From this diagram I just draw now. And that is what we are looking for. And that's what we are looking for. The distance between x, and the midpoint of the two extremes. Do you understand?
Yes.
The distance between x and the midpoint of the two extremes is less than or equal to is less than or equal to 0.06. Because what this thing now means, if we rewrite this, in inequality, if we expand this now, we are going to have it that x is going to give us that x is going to give us that, is it 0.06 or is it minus 0.06?
Which one?
Minus
Let me see my
0.06
calculator.
is less than
Which one?
or equal to x. I mean the distance between, when I write x to 1.26 is less than or equal to 0.06 is less than or equal to x, then less than or equal to 1.26. So that in each case, when we add 0.06 to 1.26, we are going to have a value for x. Or when we subtract 0.06 from 1.26, we are going to have a value for x. This means when we add 0.06 to 1.26, we are going to have the extreme value. And when we subtract 0.06 from 1.26, we are going to have the other value, the two extreme values for x. So from the options given there now, the correct option is x. I think the correct option from the options given in that question, I think the correct option should be what? The correct option should be B. The correct option should be B. Do you understand? Hello, can you hear me? Hello?